In the cold silence of deep space, a black, sleek ship drifted unnoticed. Its sharp edges shimmered against the stars like a shadow that didn't belong. Inside, tall reptilian beings moved with quiet confidence. They were Zarathians, members of the most feared empire in the galaxy. From behind a glowing control panel, a Zarathian officer studied Earth's blue surface through a wide observation screen. "Primitive," he muttered, his forked tongue flicking. Their scanners picked up ancient radio waves, outdated satellites, and old fusion tech. It looked like Earth was stuck centuries behind the rest of the galaxy. A soft hum signaled a communication from their capital. The screen flickered, and the image of Supreme Archon Virex appeared. His red eyes gleamed with arrogance. "Report," Virex commanded. The officer saluted. "Earth is defenseless. No orbital fleet, no planetary shields. Their people live in clusters, unaware of space beyond their moon. They pose no threat." Virex grinned. "Good. Send word to the Council. Earth will be ours by the next cycle. We'll turn it into a resource world." The officer bowed. "As you command, Supreme Archon." The transmission ended, but something outside caught the officer's eye. A faint energy spike, strange and brief, flickered near the moon. It vanished before the instruments could lock on. He narrowed his eyes but said nothing. Perhaps just a glitch. Far below, Earth turned slowly, peaceful and quiet. But high above the clouds, hidden from alien eyes, the truth was far different. Orbiting Earth, deep inside a darkened station cloaked by advanced stealth fields, stood Commander James Walker. He gazed out of a thick, armored window as training fighters zoomed past. He was tall, strong, and calm. 35 years old. A man shaped by war, but trained for peace. The scar on his left jaw told stories he never spoke of. Behind him, Lieutenant Reyes approached. "Simulations complete, sir. Cadets passed the zero-gate combat test," she said. "Good," Walker replied. "Increase the difficulty tomorrow. We don't train them for show. We train them to survive." Reyes nodded. "Yes, Commander." Walker turned back to the stars. "They still think we're weak. Forgotten. No fleets, no power. Let them believe it. We'll be ready." Outside the window, several massive shapes floated in the shadows. Sleek, dark warships powered down, silent, invisible to all known scanners. The Earth Starfleet. A force built in secret after Earth's near extinction 2 centuries ago. Humanity had learned, painfully. Now they watched in return. And they waited. Back in Zarathian space, Virex stood before the High Council, a gathering of alien warlords and ministers who ruled entire sectors. "Earth is open," Virex said. "We strike now. Take the planet, enslave the population, and mine its resources." One elder, covered in silver scales, raised a brow. "They've been silent too long." "You sure they have nothing?" Virex laughed. "What could they hide? Rocks and broken machines. I'll show the galaxy what happens when you ignore the Dominion." The Council approved. The invasion of Earth was authorized. The Zarathian fleet began preparations. Dozens of massive battleships, troop carriers and cruisers activated their warp drives. Lights blinked. Engines flared. The stars shifted. Earth had no idea what was coming. Or so they thought. On the ESF Valor, still docked in Earth's hidden orbital shipyard, Commander Walker stood with his hands behind his back. He watched as technicians loaded final systems, weapons, and AI cores into the ship. He spoke softly to himself. "They'll come, and when they do, they'll realize their mistake." He stepped forward, entering the bridge of the Valor, the ship that would carry Earth's hope. 200 years ago, Earth was broken. Nations had fallen. Oceans had risen. Digital systems collapsed, and war followed. Billions were lost in silence. Humanity almost ended itself, but from the ashes came unity. Survivors from every continent built a new council, not of power, but of survival. They called it the Terran Accord. For the first time, Earth acted as one world. And quietly, without telling the stars, they began to build. Not just cities or farms, but ships. Warships. They called it the Earth Starfleet. The project was hidden deep in the asteroid belts, on the far side of moons, buried beneath frozen ice planets. Thousands of scientists, engineers and pilots, trained in silence. AI systems were created in dark labs, designed not for dominance, but for defense, and for 200 years. Earth said nothing to the galaxy. Commander James Walker stood in the command center of Earth's orbital defense ring. Thick armor-plated walls surrounded him. The hum of engines and the soft beeping of long-range sensors filled the room. Lieutenant Reyes entered briskly, holding a small data chip. "Commander, we intercepted something." Walker raised an eyebrow. "What is it?" She plugged it in. A hologram appeared, spinning slowly. An alien face, cold and scaled, spoke in a strange language. The system auto-translated. "People of Earth, you will surrender your world. Your resources now belong to the Zarathian Dominion. Resistance is pointless. You are surrounded." The message looped. Reyes looked tense. "They think we're still asleep." Walker's face was calm. "Good." He walked over to the main console and tapped a few commands. A large 3D star map appeared, showing Earth at the center. Red signals blinked from the outer edge of the solar system. "They're sending scouts first. Testing our defenses," he said. "Should we respond?" "No. Let them come closer." Reyes paused. "Do we reveal the fleet?" Walker shook his head. "Not yet. The longer they think we're unarmed, the better." He stared at the blinking lights. "But we need to prepare." Across the far side of Mars, the shipyards came alive. Massive hangars opened, and giant warships powered up for the first time in decades. One by one, vessels began to rise, slowly, silently, like titans waking from deep sleep. The ESF Valor led the way. Black and silver, long and sharp, the Valor was Earth's most powerful ship. It was designed for stealth, speed, and command. Inside, its systems were powered by twin fusion cores and guarded by next-gen AI. In the command chamber, engineers moved fast, running final checks. Walker stepped aboard, his boots clicking on polished metal. He looked around the bridge, sleek consoles, deep blue lighting, and displays ready to light up with battle data. Reyes followed him inside. "We're fully armed. Rail cannons, drone swarms, stealth matrix. Engines ready. Crew reporting in." Walker nodded. "I want every ship ready within the next 12 hours. No errors, no delays." "Yes, sir." Down on Earth, the Terran Council met in a hidden underground chamber beneath the Andes Mountains. Massive screens showed satellite footage, fleet positions, and incoming signals. An older man, Counselor Darren, spoke. "Should we attempt diplomacy?" Walker's voice came through the comms. "They're not interested in peace." Another counselor asked. "Can we win?" There was a pause. Walker replied, "We won't win by numbers. We'll win by surprise." The chamber fell silent. Then Darren nodded. "Then go, Commander. Show them who we are." Hours later, deep in space, a single Zarathian scout ship entered Earth's system. It glided silently, scanning the moon, the Earth, and everything in between. Nothing. No sign of warships, no defense grid. "Fools," the pilot whispered. He didn't see the shadows that followed him. From the dark side of Jupiter, a black vessel slowly turned. No lights, no sound. It was the ESF Phantom, Earth's stealth cruiser. Its systems locked on. Orders were clear. "Do not destroy." Walker's voice echoed through the Phantom's comms. "Disable. Let them run home scared." A soft hum filled the ship as energy beams targeted the scout's systems. In one flash, the Zarathian vessel lost power. It drifted, stunned, disabled, but still intact. A message was sent to it, in their own language. "You thought we were asleep. We were watching." The scout limped away, its data corrupted. The message was clear. Earth was not defenseless. Back on the Valor, Walker watched the transmission log. They'll know now, Reyes asked. Was it the right move? Walker nodded. Yes, they'll come in force now, but we'll be ready. He turned and looked at the stars ahead. The real battle starts now. The Zarathian scout ship drifted through the void, damaged and confused. Its engines sparked weakly. Its crew was silent, shaken. They had never been attacked without warning, and certainly not by a species they believed to be harmless. Inside the command deck, the pilot tried to restore systems. Alarms flashed across the controls. The ship's memory core had been wiped. Their scans of Earth were gone. Even the navigation system was corrupted. Only one message remained, glowing in red. You thought we were asleep. We were watching. The pilot trembled as he replayed the message. Earth was not weak. Earth had a fleet, and worse, it was hidden, advanced, and deadly quiet. He sent an emergency signal before jumping into warp. The ship vanished into the dark, fleeing back to Zarathian space. On the Zarathian homeworld, Supreme Archon Virex stood tall inside the Warspire, the central command hub of the Dominion. His red cloak draped across his shoulders like a shadow. When he received the scout's report, his hands tightened into fists. Impossible, he growled. They wiped our ship's data. They have stealth. They let the pilot live. His advisors stood around him, uncertain. It could be a bluff, one said. Perhaps a lucky shot. A defense drone. Virex's eyes narrowed. No, it was a warning. He turned toward the galactic map glowing behind him. They want us to fear. I will give them something to fear instead. With one sweep of his claw, he activated the fleet beacon. Moments later, across Zarathian-controlled systems, massive warships began to move. The invasion of Earth had begun. Back in Earth's solar system, Commander Walker stood on the bridge of the ESF Valor, watching live scans. Dozens of red dots appeared near Neptune. More appeared by Saturn. Then Jupiter. Reyes whispered. They're coming, Walker replied. Just as planned. He turned to his comms officer. Signal the fleet. Phase 1 begins. From behind moons, beneath icy crusts, and hidden inside asteroid fields, the Earth Starfleet came alive. Sleek destroyers, agile corvettes, massive battleships, all cloaked, all silent, moved into position like pieces on a chessboard. Each ship had orders. Hold position, wait, and when the time was right, strike hard. In space near Saturn, a group of Zarathian cruisers entered Earth's orbit range. Scans show nothing, one alien commander said. No ships, no stations. Another grinned. Earth is hiding underground like bugs. They had no idea that just behind Saturn's rings, 3 Earth warships floated quietly, cloaked and locked on. Walker's voice came through their shared battle channel. Target their engines. Leave one ship functional. We need them to see what we can do. Seconds later, 3 Earth ships decloaked. Blue energy cannons flared to life. The first Zarathian ship exploded before it could raise shields. The second lost power and drifted, smoke pouring from its hull. The third turned to flee, but Earth's tractor beams locked it in place. It shook and struggled like a beast in chains. On board, its captain screamed in panic. They're everywhere. Where did they come from? A message appeared on their screens, written in perfect Zarathian. This is Earth. We do not bow. We do not run. We defend our home. News of the battle spread fast. Across the stars, alien empires began to speak the name Earth with caution. On the Zarathian flagship, Virex watched the reports come in. Ship after ship. Lost. Destroyed. Captured. This isn't possible, he said quietly. They were nothing. He slammed his fist onto the command table. No more games. Send the main fleet. I'll lead it myself. Inside the ESF Valor, Walker watched the silent stars. Reyes stepped beside him. We hit them hard. Yes, he said. But they're not done. She nodded. Virex is coming, isn't he? Walker didn't answer right away. Then he looked at her. He'll come, with everything he has, because now he's angry. Reyes asked, what do we do? Walker stared out the window. His voice was steady. "We hold the line." Far ahead, scanners began to flash again. Something massive was entering the system. The stars blinked quietly over Earth, but deep in space something dark moved. A massive fleet, Zorathian warships, shaped like claws and fangs, emerged near Pluto. At the center, larger than all the rest, was the command ship, Bloodfang, the personal flagship of Supreme Archon Virex. On board, Virex stood tall at the front window. His eyes glowed with anger. "So," he growled, "Earth wants a war." Behind him a Zorathian officer replied, "We outnumber them 10-1, Supreme Archon. Their ships are small. Their numbers are few." Virex sneered. "Numbers don't matter when you're smarter and stronger." He raised his clawed hand and pointed toward the center of the system. "Destroy everything." On the ESF Valor, alarms flashed. The Earth Starfleet detected the enemy fleet entering their zone. Reyes looked at the scanner, her eyes wide. "That's over 50 ships. And their flagship is huge." Commander Walker remained calm. He stood with his hands behind his back. "They're betting on fear, but we won't blink." He turned to the communications officer. "All ships, hold formation. Cloaks off. Show them we're here." One by one, Earth's hidden warships lit up across space. They uncloaked near Earth, the moon and the asteroid belts. Lights gleamed off their dark hulls. Engines rumbled to life. It was a warning, a message. Earth was ready. The battle began with fire. Zorathian ships launched first, firing bright red plasma beams across the void. Earth's ships dodged and returned fire, fast, sharp blue bolts that cracked through enemy shields. The ESF Hammer, one of Earth's heavy cruisers, turned its twin rail cannons forward and fired 2 piercing slugs. One enemy ship exploded into glowing debris. On the Valor's bridge, Walker gave orders calmly. "Split the fleet into wings. Sector Alpha pushes forward. Beta and Gamma hold the flanks." Reyes relayed the commands. "Move, move, keep formation tight." Meanwhile, Earth's gravity well trap activated near the moon. The system had been in place for years, disguised as satellite junk. As the Zorathian fleet pushed forward, their ships were caught in the gravity distortion. Suddenly they slowed, dragging behind. "Something's pulling us," a Zorathian pilot shouted. In that moment of confusion, Earth's fighters flew in, launching drone swarms and micro-missiles. Several Zorathian cruisers fell within seconds, but not all went smoothly. Earth's ESF Defender took a direct hit. The ship shook violently. Half of its systems fried. "We're losing power," the captain shouted. Before they could recover, another shot struck the hull. The ship drifted, its lights dimming. Walker heard the call and clenched his jaw. "Order ESF Nova to cover them. Get their escape pods out now." Then came the big move. Commander Walker looked at the battle map. The enemy flagship, Bloodfang, had pushed to the center right into Earth's trap. He turned to Reyes. "They're in range. Time for Phase 3. Reyes smiled. "Let's take the head off the snake." Walker's personal team boarded a stealth transport. They were going in. The plan was dangerous. Sneak through the chaos, slip past the outer guards and infiltrate the flagship directly. Cut off the command. End the battle. Inside the stealth ship, Walker checked his weapon. Beside him, Reyes did the same. "You sure about this?" she asked. Walker nodded. "We finish it now, or they keep coming." The transport ship, covered in advanced cloaking, slipped through the battle like a ghost. It dodged laser beams and drifting debris, moving silently through the chaos. Soon, Bloodfang filled the window. A dark, massive beast of a ship. Walker gave the signal. "Engage magnetic clamps. Prepare to breach." The ship latched onto the enemy hull with a deep metallic click. Walker and his team cut through the outer door and stepped inside. Red lights, metallic halls. The stink of Zorathian air filled their lungs. It was time. Back on the Valor, Earth's fleet kept fighting. Ships twisted through the stars, dodging plasma and firing everything they had. The battle for Earth had truly begun. but the outcome would depend on what happened next. Inside the enemy's heart, the halls of the Bloodfang were dark and cold. Commander Walker moved carefully through the narrow corridors, his steps silent. Beside him, Lieutenant Reyes held her rifle steady, eyes sharp. Behind them, 2 more Earth soldiers followed. Their mission was clear: find Virix and end the war. They passed alien symbols on the walls, glowing with a soft red light. The ship felt like a monster's belly, alive and breathing. Walker paused, listening. Footsteps echoed ahead. A Zerathian guard turned the corner. Too late. Reyes fired first. One quick shot. The guard collapsed silently. They dragged the body aside and continued. Control room should be 3 levels up, Walker whispered. We take the lift, cut through command and get to the bridge. They moved fast. Outside the ship, the battle raged. Earth's fleet had taken heavy hits. 3 ships were gone. More were damaged. But the enemy wasn't doing much better. Zerathian formations had broken apart. Earth's drones swarmed their rear lines, disabling engines and weapons. The ESF Valor led the main strike group, firing from a distance, its rail cannons landing perfect shots. Still, without a clear victory, the outcome remained uncertain. Then a message came through. Team has boarded the Bloodfang, proceeding to the bridge. The crew on the Valor cheered quietly. Reyes's voice followed. We'll get it done. Inside the Zerathian flagship, Walker's team reached the bridge. They breached the final door with a small charge. Smoke filled the room. There stood Supreme Archon Virix, tall, armored, ready. He turned slowly, his red eyes burning. So, the humans crawl into my ship. Brave. Foolish. Walker stepped forward. This war ends now. Virix laughed. You think you can defeat a god? He drew a long plasma blade. It glowed bright and hissed in the air. Walker raised his rifle. Let's find out. The fight was brutal. Walker dodged the first swing, barely avoiding the blade. He fired, but Virix's armor deflected the shot. Reyes flanked from the side, firing bursts to push the alien back. Virix roared, swinging wide, smashing a console. Sparks flew. Walker rolled, came up behind him, and fired point blank into the back plate. It cracked. Virix spun and grabbed Walker, lifting him off the floor. But before he could crush him, Reyes fired once more straight into Virix's chest. The Archon dropped Walker, stumbled, and fell to his knees. His blade hit the floor with a loud clang. You are only humans, he whispered. Walker stepped forward, bruised and bloody. We are more than you ever imagined. With one last shot, the Archon collapsed. The bridge fell silent. Walker keyed into the control panel and activated the comms. This is Commander Walker. Zerathian flagship secured. Archon Virix is down. Across space, Earth's ships picked up the message. Zerathian crews panicked. Some surrendered. Others retreated. Within minutes the remaining fleet scattered, fleeing the system. Stetstos's Dabor was over. The Bloodfang drifted quietly now, its lights dim. Walker sat on the bridge steps, catching his breath. Reyes stood beside him, her rifle lowered. We did it, she said softly. Walker nodded. We made them see. Outside, stars twinkled again. But now, they watched Earth with respect. Aboard the ESF Valor, cheers filled the command deck. Screens flashed with victory markers. Earth's flag appeared across the fleet's network. Reyes sent one final message from the enemy ship. Mission complete. Earth stands free. On Earth the Terran Council received the news. No one spoke at first. Then they rose to their feet, quiet, proud, and full of hope. For the first time in centuries, Earth had not just survived, it had won. The sky over Earth was clear. Cities glowed with lights, not from fire or war, but from peace. People stood on rooftops, in parks, by the sea, looking up at the stars. They had always looked up with wonder. But now they looked up with pride. The Zerathian fleet was gone. What remained had fled to deep space. The threat was over. For now. In orbit the ESF Valor floated quietly above Earth. Inside, Commander Walker stood on the bridge. The battle was won, but the weight of it still sat on his shoulders. Reyes stepped beside him. Final damage reports are in. We lost 5 ships. Thousands injured. 84 dead. Walker took a deep breath. They knew the risk. They chose to stand. Reyes nodded. The whole galaxy is watching now. We're no longer invisible. Walker turned to look at Earth through the window. Good, let them watch. On the Terran Council floor, leaders from every region gathered. The large screen behind them displayed a galaxy map. Earth's territory was small, but marked now with a glowing symbol. One counselor spoke. Other empires have sent messages. Some want peace talks, some don't. Counselor Darren replied, "Let them come, we'll talk, but we won't bow." Another counselor asked, "What about Starfleet? What's next?" Darren answered, "We expanded. We train more. Earth must never be caught off guard again." Everyone agreed. A week later, a ceremony was held. Commander Walker, Reyes, and dozens of crew members stood before a quiet crowd in Geneva. There were no long speeches, only a flag, raised slowly into the wind. The Earth Starfleet emblem, surrounded by stars. Walker looked out at the people, the children, the survivors. He remembered the pain of Earth's past. He saw the hope of its future. Later that night, back aboard the ESF Valor, Walker sat alone in his quarters. A soft alert blinked on his screen. New signal detected. Origin, unknown. Language, untranslated. Distance, intergalactic. Reyes walked in and saw the alert. "What do you think it is?" she asked. Walker stared at the message. It was short, just a pulse of sound and light. "I don't know," he said. "But it's not Zarathian." She asked, "Should we respond?" Walker looked out the window at the stars again. "Not yet. Let's listen first." Reyes gave a small smile. "You think more are coming?" Walker nodded slowly. "We made noise. Now the galaxy knows we exist. Some will want to talk. Others will want to fight." He stood straightening his jacket. "But now we're ready for both." Earth was no longer alone. It was part of something bigger. The stars were vast, filled with life, danger, and opportunity. But after centuries of silence, Earth had finally spoken, and the galaxy had listened.